In this video, we're going to talk about future value. In all the time value of money questions throughout your entire finance career, you need to draw a timeline. A lot of people don't do that, but it's necessary to do. We're going to do the math kind of slowly here, and we're going to wind up with a nice compact formula that when you look at it, I think you'll have a clear understanding of it. So let's say you start out with $1,000 in the bank. You invest that money at 10%, so your interest rate is 10%, and we will use 10% a lot just because it's easy to do. So times 0, this is 1 year, this is 2 years, this is 3 years. How much do you have after a year? Well, you have your original $1,000 plus you have your 10% of 1,000, which is 100, so you have $1,100. Okay, how much do you have at the end of 2 years? You have $1,100 that you had in the bank from year 1, and the bank gives you 10% more, 10% interest, so you are given another $110. That's $1,210. Let me do one more step here. At the end of year 3, how much money do you have? Your original $1,210 that you put in the bank, plus the bank gives you 10% more, which is $121, so you wind up with $1,331. So mathematically, let's look at what we're doing here. We're saying the value at year 1 is equal to $1,000 plus 10% times 1,000. Right, but the easier way to write this is the $1,000 times 1 plus 0.1, or $1,000 times 1.10. I'm going to put the first power, even though I don't need it. I want to put to the first power right there. So what about the value at year 2? The value at year 2 is equal to the $1,100 I had at year 1 plus 10% of the $1,100 we had, 10% of the $1,100 we had on deposit at the beginning of year 1. So this is going to be 1,100 times 1 plus 0.1. Another way I can think about this is I had $1,000 and I multiplied that by 1.1 here to get to my 1,100, and then multiply by 1.10 again, which is the same thing as $1,000 times 1.1 squared. So I can say the value in year 2 is equal to, what's this? The value in year 0, the $1,000 is the value in year 0, times 1 plus whatever the interest rate happens to be, to the power 2 n, call that n number of years. So that's what my formula looks like. Now let's do it again with the value in year 3. The value in year 3 is the $1,100. I'm sorry, not the 1,100. The $1,210. $1,210 I had at the end of year 2 plus 10% of that $1,210, which is the same thing as saying $1,210 times 1.10 to the first, which is the same thing as saying $1,000 times 1.1. I know you may be bored at this point, but I really want to make the point here. I want you to see what's going on. Each time I move forward, I add 10% more. So the formula is going to look like this, 1,000 times 1.10 cubed, because what happened? If I want to know the value in year 3, and I started out with a value in year 0, I took 3 steps, and the size of the step was the interest rate. I want to have to the end. So the general formula looks like this. The value, no, that's got to be to the 3, sorry, to the 3. And this needs to be, here n is equal to 2. The value in year 3 is equal to the value today times 1 plus r to the 3. In general, I can write it like this. The value in year n, the value in any year, is equal to the value today times 1 plus r to the n. A way a lot of people write it, and this is in the textbook as well, the future value the value in year n is the future value, is equal to the present value. In this case, I mean the value today, but it's not always going to mean that. So times 1 plus r to the n. So what you need to be familiar with is these two equations. They say the same thing, they're just written a different way. The future value is equal to a present value times 1 plus r to the n. The future value is what I'm start with times the step size, which is r, raised to the number of power, the power of the number of steps that I take. Alright, so work some future value problems, make sure you get those numbers down and very comfortable with that. Then we'll move to present value.